Good afternoon, you're tuned into AllFM on 96.9. I'm Anne Algar, I'm with you for the next hour with Anne's All Sorts. And my guest this afternoon is Lee Barber, and that piece of music that we just heard was his choice of music, and it was called Zombie by the Cranberries, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
So welcome to the show, Lee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
So, I mean, it means it's something a bit special to you, that one, doesn't it? So
I think so, yeah. I mean, I go to Ireland a lot, but on top of that, obviously, zombie, I feel like a zombie most days.
Right.
But, you know, people have got to get on with things like work or just general day-to-day life, and you try to get through it. So I do that in my best way. For the longest time, I've been a little bit denial with the condition.
Right, so could you just tell us what the condition is that you have?
The condition is multiple sclerosis.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that having that sometimes makes you feel like a zombie.
It does indeed, yeah.
But trying to work through it and make light of it exactly, but trying to use things to get you through it.
That's right, yeah.
When were you, I mean, have you had this all your life, multiple sclerosis?
No. I felt my first symptom was around about 2002. And that was just...
so how old were you in 2002? Sorry to interrupt.
Around about 22.
Right.
Yeah, I was 22. I was still at university. It was a confusing time. I didn't know what the problem was, or why it was there. And basically, I just had numbness and tingling in my right leg. And I was at university, like I say, and I just do what students do at the time. You just try it, forget it. You try it, forget it, and hope it goes better. And that's all you can do. So I did things to take my mind off it, like, you know, you go to the pub, you do as many things as you can to take your mind off it.
So when you say like numbness and tingling, the numbness, was it just, I mean, did it affect the way you walked or the way, or it was just like a numbness in you, you think, oh gosh, what's this wrong with my leg?
That's right.
I must have slept on it funny or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it, yeah.
Right.
Gosh. So, you think you've knocked it in some way or something like that. You'd think of many reasons why it might be there or why your leg might be doing that. Loads of different reasons. You don't think for a second it might be something like multiple sclerosis.
Gosh, no.
You just don't. You don't want to know, actually. That's more to the point. You
Probably,
just think,
yeah,
you're 22. You've got the world ahead of you. You don't want to be worried about things like that. So you just get on with things the best as you can.
So you didn't go to the doctor or anything about it?
Yes, yeah, I did go to the doctor.
Right.
This is back when I was at university, like I say. So I went to the doctor, just a general GP. They do the usual things like strength tests, eye tests, things like that, just to test your sensory, ability at that point. And, I got through that with flying colours. At the time, like I say, I was quite strong. So, the doctor does the strength test to me, and, I push him back when he pushes forward.
Right.
And I didn't have a problem with that. I've set the doctor, and it lands on the other side of the room. I didn't know what the problem was. And then when he does my legs, tries to strengthen my legs again, there was no problem. So I thought this has got to be a mistake somehow. So,
right.
Yeah.
So where did you go from there then? So.
From there, I just, like I say, I just try to put it to the back of my mind. I didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until 2004, when I started work by this point,
right,
that I just got I had something wrong with my eye. It was the right eye. Again, it's the right side of my body. And I had something called optic neuritis. And what that is, basically, is when you get a blind spot or like a dull part of your eye that if I'm looking at you, I couldn't quite see your face,
right,
but I can see everything else perfectly.
On the peripheral. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
I mean peripheral vision.
Gosh.
So I could get around that by looking at out of my peripheral vision, just at the computer screen, and I'd just get by that way. So I was referred to.
So you were working on with computers.
That's right. Yeah. So
not a very good.
No.
Job
accommodation.
To be in,
no,
really,
not at all.
When things start going wrong like
exactly.
that. Exactly.
So you don't really want to be worried about you're going to get an eye problem, or you need glasses or anything like that. I thought, nah, it can't be that way. So I did go to an optician, and then the optician couldn't work out what was going wrong. So he referred me to Sunderland Eye Hospital because I was working in Newcastle at the time.
Right.
From that point, they did all the tests, and even the eye hospital couldn't work out what was going wrong. Apart from saying, well, I'm going blind. And it's not something you want to hear. But, yeah, that's where that was at that point. And I was quite down about that. But I didn't know it was multiple sclerosis at the time. And then, as what happens with multiple sclerosis, you get diagnosed as relapsing remitting. I wasn't diagnosed at this point, but I know that now.
I see, right.
Yeah.
So you had episodes, and then you were free for a while.
And then
you'd have another episode. And
yeah, that's right. That's
gosh.
Constant relapsing remitting. Yeah.
I mean, you must have thought you were going mad or something,
A
because
little bit, yeah.
When you've got no, when they keep saying,
well,
they don't know what's wrong, or
yeah. At this point, this is why a lot of people with the condition are they feel an element of relief when they are finally diagnosed, because they know what it is.
Of course.
So at that point, when I had the sort of the blindness episode, and after about 4 weeks, it came back to normal. I didn't know it was relapsing remitting. It took another episode before I finally went to a proper doctor, a neurologist.
Right.
Yeah, and they could test me for certain things that a normal GP wouldn't do.
Right, wouldn't test you for. Yeah. Gosh.
So and I had an MRI at that point, and then they then suspected it to be multiple sclerosis. Even then, at that point, they asked me to go for a lumbar puncture.
Right.
And a lumbar puncture, spinal tap, for another word. It's not something you really want to do. You think,
no, I've been told that it's not a very nice procedure.
Yeah, a lot of people hear that, and I have so many people online that say to me, oh, they're worried because they're having a spinal tap, or lumbar puncture, which is a nice way of saying it. But really, when you have that, you don't feel a thing.
Oh, my goodness.
No. The nurse that was doing it at the time said to me, do you want a mirror so I can watch it? I was like, no, God, no. I said to my fiancée, who was there with me at the time, I said, can you distract me in some way? Just talk about nonsense. It doesn't matter what it is. Just some sort of distraction, so I won't worry about it. I didn't know what the nurse was doing. I didn't feel a thing.
Oh,
obviously,
gosh.
She put some sort of...
Like an epidural, perhaps you'd had some pain deadening.
Yeah, it's something just like you have when you have an injection and it numbs it. And that was it. So you don't actually feel what's going on. They were probably doing all sorts, and I didn't feel a thing. So, and then it was done in seconds. Honestly, it was seconds. So it's not anything to worry about.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So what was the result of that then? What did they find out from that?
Yeah, at that point, Nasman said, okay, we've got a definite diagnosis at this point, because they can see from the lumbar puncture that there's evidence of multiple sclerosis, MS, at that point. And they gave me that diagnosis. And when you get that diagnosis, there's an element of feeling numb. at that point. You don't know what to expect. You don't know. A lot of people, straight away they think their life is over and things like that, which is, I wouldn't say I was feeling that way. I just thought...
I mean, I can imagine it's the same with any life-changing diagnosis. I mean, it's going to be the same, isn't
exactly.
it? It's just like you say, for a minute, you're just like poleaxed, aren't you?
Yeah,
so even though, like you say, part of it is relief. Thank goodness I've got something. They know what I've got. That's, it's not me. But then the realization, probably of like, this is going to affect me for the rest of my life.
I'd say, yeah, it does. But I'd say the worst thing you can do is go on your computer and type in multiple sclerosis into Google.
Yeah.
Because straight away you'll get all sorts of pictures of people in wheelchairs and stuff like that. I'm still not in a wheelchair now, thank God. That's because straight away after diagnosis, I read up on it. I didn't look on the internet. I just read up on it.
Right.
This is people who have it that are trying to do the best to get around it. That means doing whatever I can to reduce inflammation. First of all, finding out what it is. What
is it? Yeah.
What causes these episodes that I keep having? I know I've got MS now, but when I have these episodes, what causes each episode?
Right.
And it turns out to be inflammation in your body.
Right.
So reading up on it, finding out how I can reduce inflammation, doing whatever I can to stop it. And that meant changing my diet. So this time I was quite heavily into combat sports, boxing, wrestling, mixed martial arts, whatever it was. So if I was against somebody, I'd never told my opponent what it was that I had,
right? Because
it would have affected what the match or fight would be at that point. So I just didn't say anything. You could say at that point that's where the denial was.
Yeah.
So, and I was lucky at that point. They have something which doctors still don't believe exists, but I do. It was kind of benign MS, where you really have you don't have anything wrong with you, really.
I think I've met someone who was in that state. Because I've met other people who were very affected by it. With sticks or in wheelchairs, like you say. But I have met somebody who didn't look like they had anything wrong with them at all. And then they said they had MS.
That's a problem. That's the problem with MS. You do get a lot of people with benign MS. They don't have any problems. But even the people with MS, and they do have problems, and they do, like me now, it has progressed somewhat beyond benign MS to actually full-on MS.
Right.
So now I do need sticks to walk and things like that. So it's no longer invisible.
No.
It is, for the most part, like I'm sat here now, and it doesn't appear there's anything wrong with me. And it's an invisible disease. It's an invisible problem. So to
a large extent, yes, I think. But then obviously, like you say, when people would see you walk, as I've seen today, then obviously it is very visible then, isn't it?
Yeah.
That,
so it could be anything. It could be
that you have mobility issues.
Exactly. You can see the sticks. You can see a wheelchair, for example. You can see a scooter.
But I think even in you can see the effort it takes, even with the sticks.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I walk with a walking stick, and sometimes if I'm going to be standing for a long time, for example, at the beginning of last year, we went to Auschwitz, and I knew we were going to be walking round an awful lot. We were going to be standing, and so I took my crutches with me.
Yeah.
But on a normal day to day, I don't need them. But like I say, seeing you and seeing the effort it took, you know, just to get into the building.
Yeah, it does.
Excellent. So we've talked about a little bit about the condition, and so obviously it's got worse from when you first discovered the very first episode that you had, where you didn't really think it was anything. So it's obviously got progressively worse.
Yeah.
So is it going to keep on getting more?
Yes, it is.
More worse. That's a terrible expression, isn't it?
No, not at all. No, it is.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah. From that point, you go from relapsing to secondary. From secondary, it's primary progressive.
Right.
You know, at that point, you know, you do need to do something about it. So the NHS in this country, they won't do anything about it once you're secondary. So that is my problem. Recently I went to Sheffield, because Sheffield Hallam, they do something called HSCT, which is hemopoietic stem cell therapy, stem cell transplantation. And what that does essentially is reset your immune system, so you no longer, you do still have MS, but what you don't have is the progression from it. It stops it. So it stops it from progressing.
Right.
So
but just let me go back a little bit. So the stem cell, is it other people's stem cells or your stem cells?
No, it's your own stem cells from your bone marrow. So you take it from your bone marrow. They give you some drugs to promote the stem cells in your bone marrow, basically. Basically, they put the people that do it. They have machines that take the stem cells out of your bone marrow. That's when once they collect the stem cells and they find that they have enough stem cells, they then freeze it at that point. So they put it in a special cryogenic chamber and freeze it. After that point, they give you chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy will strip your immune system. So
of course it does. Yes. I mean, obviously, people with cancer know that, don't they?
Yeah. So it's not far off that.
So basically, what they're doing is taking your immune system away from you. Yeah.
So my immune system at the minute is what is causing the MS. Right. So the MS and what MS is basically is you have cells in your body, like your T cells. T cells are in your blood. Everybody, you have T cells in their blood, and basically, if you have a cold or anything like that, your immune system will tell these cells to go in your blood, wherever it is, and sort it out.
Right.
So in this case with MS, there'll be a problem with my nerves somewhere. So that could be anywhere in my brain or my spinal column, and the T cells will attack something called your myelin. And your myelin,
yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Like a myelin sheath.
That's right.
Yes, I've heard
that
of
myelin, for the listeners, is basically like, imagine an electric cable. So you have the insulation around that cable, and that's a lot like your nerve cells. You have an insulation, which is myelin, around your nerve cell. Around your nerve stem, to be like. So these nerves are going from your brain to wherever it is on your body. It could be somewhere in your legs, your arms, everywhere. And the T cells are attacking that myelin sheath.
Right.
And so, that causes damage to your nerves, or your central nervous system. So imagine, like I said before, about having like an electric cable. So the rubber coating on an electric cable, but it's got holes in it. So that electric cable now no longer conducts like it used to. So the electric signal isn't quite getting through. Like your audio equipment here,
right?
It'd be a bit like the sound wouldn't be a good quality because the information isn't getting through that cable enough, and that's kind of like what MS is.
So they take all you, they give you the chemo.
Yeah.
So then what do they do with the stem cells then?
So with your stem cells, once it's taken, extracted from your body, they then freeze it. They put it in a cryogenic chamber, like I say. So at that point, you no longer have an immune system at that point. They can fight off any diseases. So at that point, they would have to put you in isolation, free from disease. It's like a clinical, a clinically clean.
Yeah, like a
place.
sterile environment.
Sterile environment. Yeah. They keep you in there 3 to 4 weeks. At that point, of course, your stem cells are on ice at this point.
Right.
So once they find they have enough stem cells, they reintroduce it into your body at that point, essentially resetting your immune system.
Oh, right.
So that's what the transplantation is.
Sorry. So and when you say you went to Sheffield Hallam for this to talk about this, so are they going to give it to you? No.
That's the problem I have now, because they're saying, well, I'm secondary progressive now, so it won't work. So my immediate answer to that is, in what way will it not work? Are you expecting me to be sprinting like I used to? Because I'm not.
Right,
I'm not. But a lot of people that I speak to online that have had it done, they say that they've had the HSCT and they've had the immune system reset. They're out of isolation now. Some of them are back home now, depending on how much damage has already been done to the body.
Yes.
They're sort of like symptom free, not disease free, but symptom free.
Yes.
So
it's sort of it's if not stopped the progression, it's slowed it down.
Oh, it has. It would have very much stopped it. Drugs that you can have, and something that I'm on now, that is designed to slow it down.
Right. Yes.
So it's only something like HSCT that will actually stop it.
Right.
So HSCT is available on the NHS, but they give it very few people.
Right.
And they're usually people that are relapsing remitting. Now, even when I was relapsing remitting, I didn't quite meet the criteria to have it done.
Right.
So they didn't give me anything. They didn't even put me on any drugs at that point. So obviously at that point it just gets worse.
This is on the NHS which would be free. Obviously, if they gave it to you, it would be free.
If you meet criteria, yeah.
So then what? So you don't meet the criteria.
No.
You're not bad enough, or you're not good enough, whatever, in whichever way.
Yeah.
So what's your alternative?
The alternative is that if the NHS won't give it to you, you look elsewhere. Just doing my own research, I found that there is places in different countries that they do give HSCT to people like myself, and they give it whether you're secondary or primary. They still give it you. And yeah, you could argue the fact that, well, of course they give it you, you're paying for it. You are paying for it, but literally you'll take out a second mortgage if it means stopping this problem.
Right, just let me play devil's advocate here for a minute, right? Okay, so somewhere you get the money, mortgaging your house or what, selling your what's it guitar that you used to play that's worth millions of pounds. What if it doesn't work?
You know what? If it doesn't work, like you say, which I have heard that people with secondary and primary, they've noticed improvements.
Right.
They're not, by any means, they're not sprinting again. They're not doing things like they used to again. It takes a lot of time and a lot of physio to get you back to near to where you were. But I've said this to neurologists, the fact that I'd rather try and fail than never try at all.
Of course, yeah.
But that's on my own terms, not theirs, because I trusted them before when I was relapsing. And they have something called a wait and see approach. Now that wait and see approach is basically waiting for you to get worse. So I'm not in a position to accept that anymore. So that's why I'll do whatever I can to have this transplantation. Yeah.
So could you have it done privately in Britain?
No. Well, you can. Yeah, sorry, you can have it privately in Britain, but it has to be privately.
Yeah.
And it's really,
but
really
you would
expensive.
have to pay for it.
So,
but then again, you're going to have to pay for it if you go abroad. Anyway.
Yeah, you do.
Would I mean, obviously, people do go abroad for all sorts of provisions that they can't get on the NHS. But do you not think it might be better to like stay in Britain and and go?
I would rather.
Even so, I mean, I know we're talking about lots of money. So how are you going to get the money? How are you going to raise the money to
fundraising
to
at the minute? First of all, I will clarify that I do. I mean, the NHS, they bent over backwards trying to make my mum well when she was sick with breast cancer. So they really did bend over backwards, but it wasn't until she went to a hospice, which is St Anne's in Little Alton. She went there. They looked after. That's a self-funded organisation. It's not the NHS. But even so, when she did have breast cancer and she went to Salford Royal, they made her feel comfortable, and that meant the world to me at the time. So they made her feel comfortable. I have nothing but respect for the NHS. But now it comes to me. I have no choice at this point but the NHS won't help me anymore, so I have to go abroad and have it done. So that's why I'm raising funds right now. Right. So I'm doing things like this mainly to raise awareness of the disease, because, like we were touching on before, it is quite an invisible disease.
Can be, yes, very much so, yes.
So many people can't see it. Many people look well. A lot of people say, I look well, look like there's nothing wrong with me, until they see the crutches, until they see me struggling, or something like that. But, when I'm sat down, you wouldn't know.
No, that's the thing, isn't it? So what are you doing to raise funds, and I mean, where are you doing it? How wide are you spreading it?
So I've got a fundraising platform at the minute called GoFundMe. Right. So I'm on there now. I think it's raised about £3,080 already. Which is good, but I'm going to need.
Obviously, you're going to need a lot more. Than
Unfortunately, if I go to Mexico, it's going to be $54,000, which is around about £54,000 to do that. Well, it's £53,000, so I've only got 40 to raise, but it's still quite a chunk.
Gosh, I mean, is there any way that you can get it more widespread or get other people involved in it? Perhaps, you know, some sort of celebrity or...
No, I've not looked at celebrities yet. I mean, I've
footballers
recently...
or, so, you know, just perhaps somebody else that could give you more...
Yeah, I'd love that.
Publicity.
I'd love
Obviously, we're trying to, you know, drum up publicity here by broadcasting about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, is it just? Do you just go on GoFundMe or something? Or is it on Facebook or?
I mean, I promote it on Facebook. I'm posting it all the time. So I've got a lot of people from work, a lot of people from Facebook have actually donated. People that I used to work with have donated. So it doesn't matter how much. It could be £1. It could be anything. You know, some people have been really generous. I didn't expect that. I never expect any of this donation, but I'm just doing all I can to try and get better. So there's something coming up, which is a boxing event, which has been done by a good friend of mine, and that is on February 8th at Boxing Fit in Cheshire. They're doing a sponsored sparring, so that's a 12-hour session.
Oh, goodness me.
I know. So I used to box myself, but I wouldn't do 12 hours, you know.
No,
just going 10, 12 rounds on the bag, and I'm done. But that's when I could do it. I can't do it now.
No,
you know, I can barely walk from here to across the room. So
yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
So whereabouts is that in Cheshire?
That's in Northwich.
In Northwich.
Northwich.
And that's on the February the 8th.
February 8th.
And it's called a
that's
sparring.
That's a Saturday, February the 8th. Yeah.
Sparring.
Sparring session, yeah. So I'll be promoting that on Facebook and things like that.
Gosh, yeah. So, I mean, again, that's, you know, a good way to do it, because again, the boxing fraternity, you know, with all that head slamming and things, do you know what I mean? It's likely to cause things, do you know? So I mean, that's you know, for them to do something about that. That's
well, for them, it's like I used to do it for fun. Yeah, I used to enjoy it, and these people, hopefully, they enjoy what they're doing and things like that. So 12 hours doing it is quite a session. Yeah, but I imagine
if it can raise some money, I mean,
whatever it can be, like £1, it can be £100. Doesn't matter. I'm grateful for whatever they can do. Eternally grateful for even doing it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So I'll be there as well. I believe that an organisation called That's Manchester will also be there, so they'll be taking interviews and things like that.
Oh right.
That's Manchester.
So that will promote it a bit more and publicise it a bit more.
That's Manchester have already interviewed me. Right. That's gone on YouTube.
And there are quite a lot of other stations as well in and around Manchester. You know, the local radio stations that you know, you could get in touch with them as well and make sure, you know, that even if they just say about it, even if they just promote, say, the boxing event, you know, and mention the GoFundMe, you know, even if they don't necessarily have the time to interview or whatever, you know, it's getting it out there. More people are going to hear about it, aren't they? So
I'm meeting with a good friend of mine tomorrow called Michelle Healy. She's an event organizer, and she's going to look into what else I can do.
Oh right.
I've had somebody donate a flight on a helicopter
to
goodness. Raffle. So
wow.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's.
I mean, who wouldn't want to go on a helicopter flight? You know what I mean? It's just, you know, especially if you don't have to pay for it, or at least, you know, you only have to pay for the raffle ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be amazing. Oh my goodness.
I'll speak with my.
You need to publicise that, don't you?
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
I'll speak with my event organiser and work out how we're going to do that and how we can get the most from it. We might have to do another event which will get more people to partake in the raffle,
Yes,
things
definitely,
like that.
yeah.
Exactly, but I'll wait for my event
Oh,
organiser
of course,
to
yeah.
to work at that. I'm meeting with her tomorrow, so hopefully we'll come up with something good. So that should be interesting.
I mean, perhaps you could do like a pub quiz thing, and that could be
It's
the
anything.
prize or something, you know, or one of the prizes.
Yeah,
And I mean, or you could have a raffle, a bigger raffle by trying to get people like Man United or Man City to donate something.
That would be,
you know, even just a picture of one of the players or something like that, you know, or a shirt, a signed shirt would be wonderful, wouldn't it? You know, so, but so definitely, you know, and all the not just the big clubs as well, you know, round Wigan and Bolton and Oldham, you know, all those places where they've got football clubs. Yeah. You know.
So that would be amazing.
Yeah.
If we could do
gosh.
That. Yeah. Without a doubt.
So it sounds. I mean, hopefully, you know that the more you publicise it, the more likely someone is to donate a large amount of money.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere is going to say, you know.
Exactly.
I'll donate £10,000, or do you know? No, there will be somebody somewhere. If you can publicise it enough, there'll be somebody who's got a relative who's got multiple sclerosis, or you know, had a dad who had do you know what I mean? Just whatever.
There's actually so many people with MS.
You need that publicity, though, don't you? You need to publicise it as much as possible.
But mainly, obviously, the reason why I'm on this show is to promote that campaign that I've got, but also to raise awareness of this invisible disease.
Oh, of course, yes.
That, you know, people.
But basically, it sounds like, from what you've said, I mean, it sounds like it creeps up on you.
It does.
Do you know, it's like
anybody can get it.
Like you say, you have a bit of tingling in your leg, a bit of numbness or something. Then you have something, you know, couple of years later, you have something wrong with your eyes. Yeah. And then 12 months later, there's something else in a different part of your body. Yeah. Do you know? And until all those things are put together. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, anybody can get cancer. Anybody can get.
Course,
So there's lots of different diseases that you can get. But invisible diseases, and that's why I'm here, to raise awareness of this. It could be Lyme disease. It could be something else that impacts your life that people can't see.
And it's also like something like macular degeneration, which is a similar thing to what you were saying about the eye. Yeah. People with it have got no central vision. Yeah. Just peripheral vision. Yeah. But obviously, looking at them, you can't tell. Yeah. You can't tell that there's something wrong with them. Yeah. You know, and yet their life is restricted because of the things that they can't see. I mean, they can't see the television properly, even. Do you know, or they can't read a book anymore because the print's too small. Yeah. And it's too much hassle with I know, because my partner's got it. It's too much hassle with the magnifying glass to be, you know, going along. It's you know. So to me, it sounds like until you're actually at your stage of multiple sclerosis, that's very much an invisible
it is
disease as well, isn't it?
I've got a blue badge at the minute because I'm on crutches. I can't go anywhere without crutches now.
No, of course not, no.
There was a point, I'd say, about a couple of years ago where I could walk. I could, like, I was in that benign MS, like I said before, and you wouldn't know anything. Now I'm on crutches. I've got a blue badge when I park anywhere. So you do get, a lot of people get this as well. I don't, because I still have the physique that nobody bothers me too much. But I do know people that get a lot of hassle from others that say, "Well, why have you got a blue badge? No, why are you parking in a disabled spot? There's nothing wrong with you." No, there's nothing that you can see that's wrong with them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So
Oh, gosh.
yeah, you do get a
mean,
lot of people like that. I meet a lot of people that go to a place that I go to called the MS Centre in Trafford Park. I go there every week, and I'm due to go there tomorrow.
Oh, right.
And that is to have oxygen therapy. And what that does is mainly simulate your blood in your body. So it gives things like just subdues your fatigue a little
Right.
bit and things like that. So a lot of people there have said they've had hassle because it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with them.
Gosh.
But they just people can't see it. So even I have seen people parking with a blue badge, and I've wondered why they got that. But I just can't see what's wrong with them. They might genuinely need it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. Definitely.
So it could be anything. They might have trouble walking. They might have urinary problems or something like that. That they
or eyesight problems.
Exactly.
I mean, especially if they're not if they're being driven.
Yeah.
It might be because they need to park near the shop or whatever because it's easier for them to see sort of where they're going and without too much hassle, like you say, of
Absolutely.
looking up and seeing lots of shops and thinking which one do I need to go in and things. So it's
some people
we
just
need
don't
to
like
be more
other
aware,
people,
don't we, of hidden disabilities, definitely. So coming towards the end of our show, can you believe that the hour's gone already? Is there anything else in particular that you would like to say to people out there?
It was just raising awareness, and the campaign is on GoFundMe. You can find it. You just put my name in that GoFundMe, and you'll find it.
So it's Lee Barber.
That's right. Yeah. So like I say. It could be £1, it could be £10,000. It doesn't matter. It's every penny I'm grateful for. Every penny gets me closer to what I need to feel normal again. I'll do anything to get there.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about it, isn't it? That when there's nothing where we can't. When you can't say, well, here, take this medicine and you'll be all right now.
Yeah.
Like when you've got a cough or whatever, and you take the cough mixture and then, so it's just that thing where there's, it's just going to get worse.
That's right.
So, but like you say, and perhaps, I mean, I know I was playing devil's advocate before, but at least if you can get the treatment.
Yeah.
And even if it just stops it where it is now.
Yeah, that's what
as it were.
Stop it
it's
from getting
not
worse.
going to get any worse.
Exactly.
Then also, obviously, once it's stopped, there may be things that you can do to actually not to reverse it, but to actually just make things easier for you. You might be able to get physical therapy or things like that, which will strengthen your leg,
every week's physio.
And things. So
little exercises that you do that help it a little bit, but
and like you say, this thing called brain fog that happens sometimes as well, which is I should think in some ways that might be worse than the actual other physical symptoms.
Sometimes, you just. I mean, if I'm at work, for example, there's some days where I can't think straight.
Right.
I've got too much on my mind to sort of filter it all into what I need to do.
Yeah.
So you kind of lose that with brain fog. Some people call it cog fog or cognitive function, and basically it's like a cloud that's over you, and you can't shift it at all. That's the disease.
I don't know. Gosh, it's just... Well, let's hope. Let's cross our fingers and hope that this publicity will help towards people either, going to the boxing event in Northwich in Cheshire on the 8th of February or donating to your GoFundMe page. And then, like I say, hopefully you go around the other radio stations as well and, broadcast it further on.